Welcome to another episode of I Am Dharma Talk with Rabia Ilahi. As you guys can tell from my voice, I've been sick for a little bit. And so my amazing, fabulous team, Jonathan and Nicole, decided to meet me at my house so we could record this podcast. And not videotape because I'm sick and vain and don't want any cameras on me. But we thought, we really want to share some stuff with you. And so, Nicole, you and I will just sort of talk. What is something that you think is of value to you that you would want to hear in a podcast?
I
know you just asked me that same question.
Yeah.
So I will tell you, for me,
okay.
I always like a different way of looking at something.
Yeah.
For me, just to have a viewpoint or someone sharing, oh, well, this is how I see it, or did you know? I really like learning and expanding my viewpoint.
Yeah. I was going to say something around those lines.
You just took what I said.
No, just copying. But the word that came to mind was insight.
Mm-hmm.
So like how can I gain insight in XYZ topic that it is that I'm looking to learn from?
Yes.
I mean, that's sometimes I also want to laugh or like just get out of my head.
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't learn something or something that like opens my mind to something or to a new idea, something that I can apply, a tool maybe, then that's where I gain the value from any podcast that I would listen to. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you think that's how it is for most people?
I not most, because some people do listen to podcasts that are like stories. That's what my brother likes. He listens to Serial, and what's the other one? I forgot. Blackout is another one. So people like kind of like to listen to audiobooks. So they could just, each episode it's kind of between an audiobook and Netflix.
Yes.
But
okay.
in a podcast.
Yeah.
So they can be entertained while they drive. So some people just, I mean, that's the value that they get is entertainment.
Exactly. And maybe that's what it is, to each his or her own. For me, entertainment is often insightful, but it doesn't have to be, like music I listen to. It's not always like, deep or like the best music, but it entertains me. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's pop, whatever.
Yeah.
So, okay, maybe it's like that.
It makes me think of different types of book. Like if you go to, now they probably don't exist, those bookstores that I loved to go as a kid, like Barnes & Noble and Borders. You'd have the nonfiction and the fiction.
Yes. Yeah.
So I would say podcasts kind of can be categorized overall in those two.
Oh,
so what it is that you would be looking for. Do you want to be entertained by some fantasy weird world that doesn't really exist that someone wrote about, or do you want to listen to conversations and get more like precise insight and what are the self-help part of
That's true. That's true. Okay, well, I love sharing things that impact me. And last week I was at Kripalu Center for Yoga and Spiritual Health. It's up in the Berkshires in Massachusetts. And this whole place, right, it's got beautiful grounds. It has a common cafeteria where everyone comes and eats at various times, only specific times during the day. And in the mornings, there's no talking allowed. So it's a breakfast in silence. And you're not allowed to have your cell phones or anything like that. And then lunch and dinner, of course, people are talking. But all of the food is locally and organically grown. It's sustainable. I think they may have served meat once, but it's a very interesting experience that I wish everyone could have at some point, to be in a space that's just for wellness or learning some sort of healing art, whether it's yoga or Ayurveda or yoga nidra for sleep. There are all these amazing classes, and I've been there both times. The first time I went was for Gabby Bernstein's Spirit Junkies Masterclass. And then I went again recently for her bestseller day. But I just keep thinking that if the average person could get a day where it's peaceful, they're seeing beauty around them, it's plants and trees, and everyone's into kindness and love, like what difference that would make in someone's life. I felt so blessed that I've gotten to experience that twice. But I don't know if we have anything even, we're not always so lucky to have that near us. But I was very moved with the space, and then wishing everyone could experience that peace for a little bit.
I think it just requires a lot of effort to do that, especially in our current world where we're just distracted by screens, and it's a good thing to be busy and be
productive,
be productive, or not even productive, just busy doing things. And it's not a priority to take a break, to go to the park around the corner, or if you have a park, or just anywhere where you can just not do anything. Yeah. And I think in some cases, why would people want to do that? Because that just brings all the negative thoughts. It resurfaces certain pains that you don't want to. You don't want to be alone with your thoughts. You want to be busy. You want to be distracted.
You want to be distracted.
Yeah. But there's even if you're distracted by nature and you're just experiencing something that isn't like
electronic.
Yeah. So digital, so
intrusive.
Yeah. It just reconnecting to nature in any way, whatever that means to you. It can be beach, it can be just literally sitting outside of your garden, or just breathing air
that's breathable. Yeah. I know that there are cities and neighborhoods where being outside is so unsafe, and kids have to run to and from school to avoid being shot. And I think about that. And when I was at Kripalu, I thought about that. Like, okay, here we are in the United States. Forget about developing nations. In the United States, we still have neighborhoods where someone dies once a week, if not more, and that kids who are eager to learn have to run to and from school undercover. It just is, I don't know what to do about that. I don't know what to do, how something like that starts to change, because I distract myself from thinking about that, because I don't know what to do. So if I can't do anything, why bother, in a sense, even though my heart is not distracted, but I do distract myself from thinking about that. Recently, I was watching Marianne Williamson's town hall on CNN, and she said that the reason, I'm paraphrasing, hate seems to win because people hate with, conviction. And so maybe loving with conviction brings something around we don't think of love as being so forceful and strong. I don't know. I'm just sort of talking off the top of my head.
It sounds a bit... Because I also watched the town hall. And in some way, yes, it makes sense. Like, if you love with conviction, like, it could trump hate or whatever it is you want to say it. It sounds so cliche that like you don't believe it. It's like, yeah, whatever, love always trumps blah blah blah. Yeah, that people don't want to believe it, so it becomes difficult to actually say it to people, receive it, and say yes, that can be done if we're kind to each other, if we're compassionate to each other, and choose compassion over hatred. Then we could change our environment. We could worry about those around us, and we could help, even if it's in the smallest way possible. It can make a difference just to that person. I'm not saying like we're gonna change the world. Well,
not yet, right? But that's where
you have to start small.
Start small. And what I love about Marianne Williamson's some of what she writes about, and other spiritual leaders, thought leaders, all of that, is they talk about starting with internal change, you know. And so what I know just about myself is that when I'm hating on myself, I'm not really very nice to other people. I'm angrier in the car. I'm less patient with my family and my friends. And you know what I mean? It just is, the whole day sucks when I'm hating on myself in some way. So maybe if I'm loving on myself, then every action I take throughout that day, every person I meet, shifts for the better. And I agree with you. I think if we say just love and everything's okay, people are like, yeah, okay. Does love stop a bullet? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Or does love pay my light bill? Or my car note, or my student loans, or whatever.
It's not practical.
You're
just saying fluff.
Yes, it sounds fluffy, but I think because we're talking about love as just a feeling and not a verb. You know what I mean? To love means to vote, to support, to help, to educate, to be kind, you know.
That's why I like the word kindness and compassion so much more than love. And also love, and I don't know if it's a cultural thing or not, but I think that love has also like a daunting, not daunting, but like a heaviness to it. Because when people say I love you, it's I love you. Because I remember saying that sometimes, like if someone, like a classmate, helped me with something, and this was in grad school, like not even like as a kid, it's like, oh my God, I love you. Like, thank you so much. And it's not like I meant it. They were like, whoa, like calm down. It's like, it's that different type of love you have. So maybe that's where the word's different. When people use love, they mean like romantic love all the time. When it doesn't have to be romantic love.
I wonder if we can love just a moment. You know what I mean? Like, I love this moment, or I love that you helped me in this moment.
And say it and mean. You don't have to literally feel that love when you fall in love with someone. It is love, but it's a different kind of love.
All types of love. Which is always interesting for me to explain to my kid. You know, I'm explaining, oh yes, when I say girlfriend, I don't mean like a boyfriend, you know, but then it gets into that whole heterosexual conversation. And then I think, oh, she's only 8 years old. Why am I going into all these mental gymnastics? But I just want her not to have any sort of bias against any kind of person or type of love. But it gets confusing. It gets confusing.
And it's not only that, but because of you don't want to love is being vulnerable, or kindness, compassion is showing a softer side of you, which can be very strong if you really own it.
Yes.
So you don't want to say or show any type of love, regardless if it's romantic or not, or the whatever kind of love that it is. So
Brene Brown, that a lot of listeners know her, have read her work. She says that vulnerability is the first thing we want to see in someone else and the last thing we want to show of ourselves.
Yeah.
And I found that so moving, because when we're looking at people, I mean, if you think of things like, oh, who do you think you are? Or, we're looking for that softness in other people, and so worried about showing softness in ourselves because we don't trust that the softness will be received well.
Yeah.
We're
afraid of getting hurt too.
We're afraid of getting hurt. Yeah. True. Okay, well.
Just continue. Okay, so maybe we can talk about so what can you do to, I don't know, remedy is the right word, to work towards loving in small ways that isn't romantic love. How can you show love? How can you show kindness? How can you show compassion in a day-to-day?
No, okay, so how do we show love?
And it can be to strangers, it can be to people you know, it can be to coworkers, or especially your family members. Somehow it's easier to be compassionate with people you don't know.
I know.
To me, when I'm on the street, that happened to me yesterday. I went to the grocery store, and I was exhausted from my weekend. But I was just being super nice to the girl that was reining me on the cashier. And she started to be happier, and then I was happier, and then everyone, the bad guy was also super happy. He's like, yeah, you know what? Just being nice to people is some type of kindness.
Yeah.
You just make their hour or day or whatever a little bit better.
Well, think about the vibration that's shifted, because in your kindness, the kindness of the other person is sort of activated. Not that they're not active, but it's like vibration meets like vibration. And then even more kindness is created because that person leaves their interaction with you in a slightly more elevated vibrational sense, which can in turn affect the next person. You know what I mean? So it is sort of like a butterfly effect. And I know I've said this before, that I've had clients say they were considering hurting themselves until someone smiled at them or let them get ahead of them in traffic. There's so many little ways that impact people in a big way. Yeah. That we don't know.
Yeah, I do that a lot in traffic too.
Yeah,
because here in Houston.
Yes, because you don't know.
Yeah, so I'm always like, you know what? It's okay, just pass. I will get at the same time if I let you pass or not. You just won't car.
Yes.
So it's better to just. It's hard at the beginning, but it's you know what? Go ahead, whatever.
Go. Yes.
Maybe on a major day, you're in a rush more than me. Well, you'll get there when you'll get there regardless. It's driving fast doesn't really save you any time.
Not really.
Get there
maybe 60 seconds.
Yeah, literally.
At what risk?
Yeah, not worth it.
And so some of my clients hate this particular exercise. I give them to do, but Louise Hay wrote about it, I don't know, I want to say in the 80s in her book, You Can Heal Your Life. She says to look at yourself in the mirror and to repeat out loud, saying your name out loud, and then repeat, I love you. I love you very much. And I've had to do that exercise myself. And I've had clients dread it, end up loving it, because it really does. If you can get over the initial discomfort of looking at yourself and saying something that we all need to hear. And a lot of us don't grow up hearing that. But that is one way to start your day at a certain vibration, is to greet yourself. And why is it so difficult to greet yourself that way when you would greet your pet or your child or a stranger? Maybe not a stranger like I love you, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, with kind. Being nice.
Yeah, we just, I don't know, we've gotten so far away from the intimacy of looking at yourself and saying, I love you.
Yeah. I've tried doing that before.
And
mostly because I saw a BuzzFeed video about it.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I hope millennials really watch it and actually implement them in their lives. Because, yes, it's extremely difficult. It's and you see them in the video, and then you're like, you don't even want to, like, look at yourself in the mirror. Like, I don't know. Just look at other, like, my ear or, like, the top of my head. Like, it's difficult. And I haven't gotten to that point where, like, I feel comfortable with it.
No.
But sometimes instead of just looking at myself in the mirror, because I practice yoga, you always have to set an intention. And I did that a lot this weekend. I always go back to, honoring my body, telling myself that I love you. And I sometimes hear some yoga teachers say it, like, almost at the end before you go down to Shavasana, you just, like, hug yourself, like, with your knees to chest, and just whisper to yourself, I love you. And you're like, oh, that's so awkward. Why would I say that? But at the same time, like.
But why wouldn't you say that? I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate.
Why not?
Why wouldn't you say that?
You were there
from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, and you're there to give love to yourself, whatever that, if it's for your mental health, your physical health, both of them. Yes. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because you wanted to.
Yeah.
Because you want to challenge yourself, blah, 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 blah. That is a way to show love to yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
But now you say it in words instead of actually taking action.
Yes, that one is something that to say in words. I have at times, and I'll tell clients to do this too, like focus just on your eye, one eye. If you don't want to look at yourself full, all at once, just look very, very up close to the mirror, and then just pick a body part that you can look at without having that additional because already what we're doing is uncomfortable, and I don't know, I think it makes a difference.
There's growth through discomfort.
There is.
Challenges.
There is.
But it's an excuse, like it's too uncomfortable, therefore it's not worth doing it.
Yeah. Which, come on, everything is uncomfortable. That's worth doing at some point. Think of the birthing process. That's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But without it, there would be no life, whether it's animals or humans.
Yeah.
So that is something one could do today.
And you can even go, I don't know if you've tried this with your clients, but go even, like, not even having to see yourself so close, but look at a part of your body.
Yes.
Like, not in front of the mirror. Because I've done that before. And say, like, I am, instead of saying I am beautiful, it's like, oh, look how beautiful, like, my knees are. Or even, like, because I have a lot of stretch marks.
Stretch
marks. Because I grew really fast on my knees, hips, everywhere. It's fine. And it's like, oh, you're so pretty. It's like, oh, look, I don't know why I started saying that. And now I see my stretch marks, like, oh, look. And I kind of, like, have a little smile. Or something that my yoga instructor said, like, instead of saying, because she sometimes says, like, body negative things, like, no, I didn't mean that. And she starts, like, hugging, like, kissing different parts of her body just to, like, joke around, but she means it. And in some way, that is showing love to yourself. So
yes, agreed.
Take it like a step-by-step kind of approach.
I agree. I have a tendency to want to bite off really big chunks. But maybe little to each their own. Yes, to each person just kind of takes the thing that's most palatable.
Yeah.
And then gets tougher and tougher from then on, So that's my advice on what someone can do today is a small act of kindness to yourself and then work outward from there.
Yeah.
And it's for free. Like you can literally do it for free. It costs nothing. Yeah. You can pause whatever you're watching or listening to.
Pause us right now.
Pause us.
And do this.
Yes.
Like, no excuses. I'll do it later. I'll do it when I get home. No, if you're in the car, pause it.
Actually, we're going to let's just take 10 seconds of silence. And in these 10 seconds, say something to yourself that's loving. That's 10 seconds. That seemed like a long time.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Silence is
it's difficult.
Yeah. But anyway, we hope that you said something very kind to yourself. Mm-hmm. And maybe you'll continue saying kind things to yourself, at least to start your day, and see what happens.
Yeah.
Just notice. Notice what happens. Louise Hay wrote that, notice if you start getting more parking spots or the light turns green more often. You'll notice these little messages from the universe.
Yeah.
So
sometimes you don't really see it until it becomes a pattern.
Yes.
It takes time.
Yes.
Like months later, like, oh, I don't know. It's like a lightness that you may get that, or you start seeing things in more positive ways, or you start getting less angry or frustrated at things, at little things that happen.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining us on this impromptu at-home podcast.
Casual.
We look forward to seeing you next time. Bye. If you heard something today that resonated with you, please share in the comments or send us a review. If there's someone you know that could benefit or be impacted by our conversation, don't keep us a secret. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at I Am Dharma Talk. And our website is dharmawellness.org/I Am Dharma Talk. Until next time.